think that people really get caught up in their day-to-day lives. They don't understand that we all are facing the same things. Whenever you bring everybody together to talk about those things, that is organizing.
Are you on? Which side are you on?
We have our Starbucks workers in the Zoom. Naomi is a Starbucks worker in Birmingham, Alabama, at the state's first store to unionize and join Starbucks Workers United. She's worked at Starbucks for 3 years, and following the store's near unanimous win in 2022, she joined with her coworkers organizing because of unfair scheduling and low wages and changes to the transgender healthcare policy. Tamara Bell is a Starbucks worker of 4 years in Louisville, Kentucky. Because of staffing issues and being at an at-risk store, Tamara organized with other workers there, leading them to winning their union election on November 9th, 2022. A former Teamster, Tamara joined Starbucks Workers United to give their store a voice and the power to fight for what's right. Tamara, Naomi, welcome to the Valley Labor Report. Thank you for your time.
All right, so I'll kick it off.
I'll see. Hi, it's nice to be here.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll kick it off with, and I guess, Tamara, you can take this question first. What got you interested in and involved with the union? You know, was it something going on personally? I noticed you're a former Teamster. Talk to us about what really got you motivated to get involved.
So I did used to work for Teamsters, and being excited like with the union, like bringing it to Starbucks, because it's literally unheard for there to be like a union within coffee shops or just in general. So I was excited to bring in the first.
That's awesome. And Naomi, what about you? Did you have a union background, or was it other things that got you motivated to get involved?
Not really. As a trans person, obviously trans activism has been something that I care a lot about. And I actually started working at Starbucks because they had like really, really like revolutionary trans healthcare benefits. And then they changed them. And the change actually made transitioning close to impossible for a majority of the partners. And at the time, I was just kind of devastated at, those changes. And then our campaign just like was so vibrantly queer and so vibrantly like just like trans supportive. Whenever I reached out to the campaign and I found out that, bringing back comprehensive trans healthcare to Starbucks was a big priority, I was like, sign me up.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's interesting that there's two different situations, right? There's like coming to this with a background of unions and appreciating the value they offer in other industries, right? But also these direct material issues that are affecting you. And Naomi, you mentioned this already a little bit, but talk to us a little bit about the campaign itself. When y'all were organizing down in Birmingham, how did your coworkers respond? How did the community respond? What was it like to go through that campaign?
Yeah, I think like I actually wasn't around when my store first originally organized, but I talk to them on a regular basis now, and a lot of it was related to just unfair staffing, low wages, the workload being unreal and the expectations being too high. And then there's a period of time when you couldn't really complain about it without being put on like a watch list. That pressure with like all of that pressure with the bad manager really, really solidified our store in the fight. And I think only like one or two partners voted against it, but that's like 2 out of 27. I think everybody was really feeling the heat. And it was an iconic win for Alabama to have a Starbucks labor union that's so queer in the center of Birmingham. Like, I love my store.
That's really exciting. And Tamara, what about you? How did folks respond in the organizing at your store? And I'm really curious, how did it bring your coworkers closer together?
I think for us, it was more of we had a lot of struggles with our manager, and it was like, okay, we're tired of this. Let's get together. Let's sit down and have like a heart to heart conversation, and let's see what this can do for us. And thus far,
Uh-oh.
I think we lost you.
We lost you
Tamara.
there, right there at the end. Okay, all right. So one thing I wanted to bring up, and listeners of this show are going to be well aware of some of the negativity that's happened, some of the allegations against Starbucks, but excited that more recently there's been progress, and the union is, of course, seeking a fair contract. And I'm curious. Let's go, Naomi, I guess. Talk to us about where things are at right now and kind of where things are heading with the Starbucks union.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like maybe a couple months ago, I don't know exactly, but we got a letter in our store from like someone, like it was like a labor person in Starbucks, and it was like a new path forward. It was just to me, it was very comedic, because like they kind of admitted that they haven't been treating union stores with the most amount of respect. But with that, they actually kind of backed up their apology by giving us some of the things that they withheld from us for several years. And so not only that, they also started officially bargaining with us. They're showing up to the table and, really, 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 really like working with us to create this contract that really, really keeps workers shoot concerns in mind.
Right.
And that has been really, really cool. Like I think that there's not many opportunities like this in everyday life, and I'm really happy that I'm getting to be a part of it. And it's cool that we're bringing one of the biggest, fast food, if you would call it that, fast food companies to talk to us about workers. And it's, I don't know, I don't really have, it's just been really eye-opening knowing the power that people have when they stand together. Like, I think that people really get caught up in their everyday, day-to-day lives, and, they don't understand that we all are facing the same things, like increased cost of living, gentrification, healthcare being unaffordable, inaccessible. And whenever you bring those together, whenever you bring everybody together to talk about those things, you don't realize that that is organizing, that is movement building, and we've been able to do that all the way up to Starbucks. Like that's a huge deal, and to me, it's just iconic.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. You mentioned the kind of excitement that you're getting about organizing to get a good contract, and it made me think about this conversation that I had at a party last night. I was talking to somebody who had just recently, like I think within the past few months, joined the union at their workplace after they had been working there for a couple of years because their manager asked them to work overtime that weekend when he already had plans, and he was getting married soon, and so this weekend it was the management was asking him to work that weekend, and he went to his union steward and was like, hey, is there anything we can do about this? They're trying to make me work on Friday, and I've been asking for to keep Friday off for a long time now. And so they have a clause in their contract that says if you want to schedule somebody for to work overtime, you got to give them 48 hours notice, and he had only been given 43 hours notice, and so he didn't have to do that. And he said it was just amazing walking into my manager's office with my union steward, because my manager is always like, super happy, seems like kind of on top of the world or whatever, like really kind of full of himself. And as soon as my union steward walked into his office, his mood completely plummeted. It's like he was scared out of his mind, and seeing that kind of power there, and the fear that management had of, you know, the union. I think, you know, that is something that people really don't understand and appreciate enough about, right? When we think about unions, we think about, oh, we're getting higher wages, we're getting better healthcare, we're getting something like this. But like, just the ability to make your workplace not a dictatorship anymore, I think is something that is really underappreciated, and really can't be appreciated until you have worked in a union workplace with a union contractor, you're fighting for a union contract, and you see that power in action. So, you know, I really resonated with that kind of excitement that you have, Naomi.
Oh my gosh, can I tell you about a thing?
Yes,
so
please tell me about a thing.
related to scheduling, like Starbucks doesn't really respect your schedule, and like they will schedule you all over the place. You can request certain days off and hope that you get them, and then you'll have completely different hours the next week. And then so for me, what I've noticed is it's really hard to do things like go to the doctor or hang out with my friends, like a range of things. And that's something that I think a lot of Starbucks workers experience across the country. And what's really cool about when we organize our store, we've started doing these things called March on the Bosses. And essentially, we all have put in our requested time, right? Like, these are available times. You know, this is what works best for me. Maybe there's a little bit of leniency, but like, don't go too outside of the norm for what I should be working. And, you know, our managers, we get new managers like every couple months. Like, we don't really have a high manager tenure or whatever. And so every time we would get a new manager, all of our schedules would be like all over the place. You know, hours would be cut. Some people would be given more hours that they can work, like maybe they're going to school. But yeah, whenever we kind of all got together and talked about our schedule, we sat down, wrote a letter, and then all walked up to our manager and delivered the letter like, hey, like, this is a very serious concern. There are a like laundry list of consequences for you just willy-nilly scheduling us to your comfortability. And so like just like having that and being able to see everybody's back get a little bit stronger that day was so cool. And like I think that everybody really wishes that they could do that. And it's really cool that, like, you know, now that our store is unionized, we get to do that. Like, it's a protected action. And I think, yeah, we just like see a new attitude in the store, a new sense of, you know, it's like a new confidence. I love it. So, yeah.
That's really great to hear, and I think really, you know, resonates with me in terms of the more you participate and struggle together, the more it builds that solidarity in those relationships. And yeah, like you said, the confidence to stand up for yourself, and that's awesome. And I appreciate you sharing that. And just to wrap things up, Tamara, we're going to give you the last word. Could you give us some lessons you feel like you've learned from organizing here in the South that other union members could learn from, whether they're in Starbucks or, you know, in any part of the economy? What are some lessons you've gathered from this experience?
I think what we can learn from this is that once you start a union and you give everybody like the run and the go ahead, like to stick together, because I think teamwork is the honest thing, and to make sure you check on everybody within your store or your restaurant or wherever else you're unionizing, because it's important. Like, it's important that we all stay together because it's something that we all want. It's something that we're all fighting for.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. We've got to check on each other, take care of one another, stay united, because that is where our strength lies. So, Naomi, Tamara, thank you so much for all you're doing to organize in Starbucks, all you're doing to fight for your members, and thanks for coming on the Valley Labor Report today.
Appreciate your time.
Oh no, thanks for having me. Are y'all in Alabama? Y'all are in Alabama. Are y'all in Birmingham?
Yeah, we're in Huntsville. We're in
Huntsville,
actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Well, nice to be here. Thanks y'all for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Keep in touch. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.